Welcome back. It's the Kovacs Report. It's Wednesday. It's time to take a look at reviews. We're going to kick off with my favourite character, the Amazing Spider-Man, issue 13. Yes, feels the effects of Imperial. The Amazing Spider-Man feels the effects of Imperial. So we shall see. So Joe Kelly and Pepe Larraz on art, thankfully, which is the highlight of the book, actually. The art looks really, really, really lovely. So I'm going to go for page by page. There will be spoilers. Read the book beforehand if you don't want it sport. Like the video if you can, and hit subscribe if you're new. I'd really, really appreciate it. We're trying to build this channel up. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. Can I do it with your help? So thank you in advance, and thank you in the past if you have already subscribed. Right then. So, as you may or may not know if you've been following the channel, this is my favourite book. And I preface this every single time I review it. But unfortunately, it has been terrible for a long time. Now let's look at this issue and see if it picks up and gets any better. So this is apparently tying into Imperial. If you don't already know, we've got Peter Parker, the real Spider-Man. He is trapped in space because of a battle of this cosmic being that turned up in Manhattan, kicked the living hell out of him, and then vanished him, called Hellgate. We don't know any much more than that, okay? Hellgate told him he wasn't good enough to fight, wasn't strong enough. So he sent him somewhere, and we find him in space, trapped on a planet where he's been rescued, and now he's making friends and enemies, of course. Now, back on Earth, Norman Osborn, yes, that Norman Osborn, the Norman Osborn who was usually the Green Goblin, is now one of Spidey's BFFs, has taken the mantle of Spider-Man and is wearing the suit. And Ben Reilly, yes, that Ben Reilly, he is standing in for Peter Parker. So there we go. I know it's a trifecta of what the fuck, but there we are. There we have it. So Spider-Man's rescuer has actually become almost his captor, because this alien, which we'll meet him again in a minute, he has been collecting species across the galaxy and imprisoning them for experiments and all sorts of kinds. Spider-Man's freed them all. He's got himself a new flexi suit in the process, and now he's off on his own mission in space while the Imperial event is playing out. And if you don't know what the Imperial event is, it's all the galactic empires are fighting each other. So it's a huge cosmic event. So we start off at this Galea 3, and it's a big box space suburb, apparently. Boring planet full of boring people living boring lives under the thumb of the Gothon conglomerate, who keep the joint on lock while they pillage the planet's resources. Now, Spidey and his new pals, as you can see, Rocket Raccoon is also one of them. They need to dock on this space dock so they can deliver a package. What that package is, we don't know yet. So Rocket Raccoons reckon it's going to be easy. We just bribe them and off we go. But that doesn't turn out to plan. So we get this huge fight with the people waiting on the other side. This whole issue is broken down into the fight and the chit chat that led up to the fight, and then a reveal. Like it really, I say reveal. It's underwhelming at best. So anyway, positives. The dialogue is way better in this issue. I've got to admit, the dialogue has been hammy as hell throughout Joe Kelly's entire run. It has been awful, and the humour's never hit. But I will give this issue a thumbs up on the dialogue. The dialogue's pretty good. Does pretty good. I mean, it falls in some places, but on the whole, it's way better than it has been. And as you can see, the art is glorious, and the art really does help it. Now, we see Spidey's new suit in action here as they take down all of the bad guys. Rocket Raccoon's firing these stun rounds, and Pete throughout this entire issue. This whole entire issue. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to draw parallels to what's going on in the real world, but essentially the message is here is, look, don't kill no matter what. Whether you agree or disagree with the people you're fighting, don't kill them. And Spidey, through that, the whole issue is trying to get Rocket and others to not kill, which is fine. That's admirable. That's very much on brand for Peter Parker Spider-Man. I've got no problems with it. But it's very heavy-handed. It's all the time. We get pages dedicated to talking about whether or not the Rocket Raccoon's rounds are non-lethal or not, etc. So anyway, we are introduced to the past again a few days ago. And you see this chappie here, this Xanto, right? He is the chappie that I don't know, rescued Peter Parker, and now Peter Parker has him all chained up because he's realised he's been imprisoning all these others. And they're deciding what to do with him. Now, Rocket Raccoon and most of the previously imprisoned, they want him dead. And Peter's like, no, this isn't the way. This isn't the way. We can't do this. Murder isn't the right way forward. So we introduce a new character, this Raylith of the Wretched, and she suggests that they use some life-prolonging techniques so that they can torture him for longer. And of course, Pete's not up for that, but Rocket Raccoon likes the idea. Then we jump back to the fight. And again, like I say, it's like past, future, patch, future, patch. It jumps all the way through. And the fight's okay. I mean, Pepe Larraz does a really good job of making these fight scenes look good. You know, they are very dynamic. They're visceral. You know, you can feel the energy and everything exploding in the environment. So the art is really good. And the fight scene is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But, you know, that's really all it is. It's just a fight scene. With Pete basically saying, please don't kill people. Then we jump back again and we meet this other new character with a big head. And I think he's high on drugs. He says, hey, have you guys looked at this tree? Like, really bathed in its presence? The tree is so chill. Like, it's here in a metal box, hurtling through the blackness of space, surrounded by a very negative vibes. But it's still growing. Even though it can't put down roots, anger is in the metal box we're in. All this negativity and caterwauling is only going to make the box thicker and trap us. So we're getting all this existential message. And like, I think, is there a payoff? Is there a payoff? No, there's no payoff. This guy's high on drugs, apparently, and then decides, yeah, let's kill the other dude. I just realised who he is. It's supposed to be a comic moment. So like I said, the dialogue is better, but it does fall. It falls here. It's a big layup for some joke, you know, where this guy's like, you know, let's build peace and love, man. Let's all be nice. No negative vibes. Oh, that guy, yeah, kill him. You know what I mean? It doesn't land. It just feels awkward. It's just sort of thrust in there. Anyway, the inevitable fight leads to the end boss. Here he is, this big chap with an axe that we've never met before and no one cares about, really. Absolutely nobody cares about. But we also find out through this panel here that Xanto, they've given him exploding pants and belt. Yep, I'm not kidding. They need to use his strength and his violence and his ability, you know, in combat. So they've put some exploding pants on him. Yeah, I'll let you just. Yeah, let's sink in for a minute. Yep, I think that's a gag because I just didn't find it funny at all. I was like, okay, there's an exploding. Okay, cool. Anyway, so he's fighting alongside them now because he has no choice as we come up to this big chappy up here. So, of course, we jump back in the past again. And again, there's more talk about what to do, showing mercy. Eye for an eye isn't good. Vengeance and pain lead to death. Please don't kill people. And then we get the little thing that this has been leading up to. You see that little black goo dropping on Spider-Man's face on the right here? Because we need a new symbiote, right? It's not enough to have Venom, Carnage, Anti-Venom. Do you know what? You name them, right? Null coming back, and every single Tom, Dick, and Mary Jane having their own Venom suit, right? Symbiote suit. No. Even Deadpool's pet is a symbiote, right? We got a new one, but this one's really cute and cuddly. So we can make Funko Pops and really cool plushy toys because we need cutesy. We need cutesy in Spider-Man because that was the missing ingredient, right? Not the story, not the fact the character's been butchered for decades, not the fact that Zeb Wells killed it and Joe Kelly's carrying on that torch. No, what Amazing Spider-Man needs is a cute symbiote. And that's what we got. Symbi. We've even got a cute name for him. Back to the fight. We get the obligatory fight. We've introduced Symbi. Now we see him in action. And then Spidey takes the weapon from the other lady that we met earlier, so that we can have this scene where he's got the thing behind him going through the air. The classic tropes that we always get. But again, the fight scene's not bad. It's just full of shit you've seen over and over again. No story is being advanced here at all. It's supposed to be like, wow, there's a fight through the whole issue. Wasn't that amazing? It isn't. Of course he defeats him. And then we get this little moment where he pushes him over the finger because you need to add that humor again, right? This doesn't work for me. Every time I review these books, Amazing Spider-Man, people go, why you keep reading it if you hate it? Well, because I want it to get better. I love it. And I want to point out to everyone how bad it is, so that maybe we as the fans, not that Marvel listens, specifically Nick Lowe, doesn't give a two shits what the fans think. That you might go, do you know what? Let's do something different with the fans. You know what? Let's give them what they want. And if it fails, we can turn around and say, well, we warned you, we gave you one and it didn't work. Right, but at least give us the chance, because Spidey's going nowhere at the moment. We've got this weird sort of Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 going on here, you know, and it's just boring. I don't care. I don't care about Simbi. I don't care about Rylith, this new character who's added. I certainly don't care about Xantos. And I just certainly don't care about Peter Parker being in space. Now, we haven't found out why he hasn't gone home yet, remember, because if you remember rightly, Hellgate had a huge battle in the middle of Manhattan and caused a lot of damage. And Peter needs to get home, right? I mean, that's part of the story here, but we find out in a few pages why he hasn't gone home. Anyway, they make their delivery, and their delivery is one of the refugees that he saved that was being experimented on this ship. And that's his mission at the moment. His mission is to take all these people back home, because he's Peter Parker and he does the right thing. And that's fine. That's on brand again. And that's fine. But it's mixed into what? To what story? This doesn't do anything for Peter Parker. I don't understand why this story has him in space. You know, it doesn't make any difference to me or any other fan, as far as I know. Anyway, they have a little chit chat. There's a little joke with Simbi. Ha ha ha, cutesy Venom. Yeah, but not Venom. And then we get more bad humour with Xantos locked up without his exploding pants with "I'm a stupid, ugly loser" written on it. Again, it's just childish humour. It's not even funny. And it doesn't feel Peter Parker-y. Anyway, we find out why he hasn't gone home yet, okay? Because he is lost in space. It's right on time. Finishes feeding the troops their portion of justice for all. And he says, "I meant what I said, Santo. I don't want to see anyone die, even you." He said, "Because you are such a blessed heart." He says, "Because I want to go home too, but I can't until you make me stronger. Shall we get back to work?" So I think Xantos is training him so that he can take Hellgate on. But listen, if I was Spider-Man, right, and I thought my planet was being potentially taken over by some cosmic being, right? Maybe my first priority would be to get there, assess the situation, right? And then maybe like do some training to find out what the hell's going on. You know, all this training, taking this big detour in space, by the time he gets back to Earth, it could be like a dust cloud. Again, none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense at all. I'm sorry, guys, you're going to hate me, but it's boring. I thought, okay, let's give it another issue, see, you know, what he could get up to in space. And this is supposed to tie into Imperial. The most it tied into Imperial was Rocket Raccoon says there's a galactic war across the galaxy going on. You know, it doesn't really tie in at all. It's just false advertising on the front cover. And they just want this new suit that they can play with and introduce Simbi and, you know, play this gimmick that, you know, Ben Reilly's Peter Parker, Norman Osborn is Spider-Man, and Pete's lost in space. I mean, come on. What is going on with this book? I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. Anyway, back to the positives. The art is delicious. Let's be honest. Pepe Perez should really be on this book full time. I know they're splitting the artists while they do this 2 issues a month thing. I guess they want to up the sales and get more money out of us for a terrible book. All right, and then we can go, oh, there's 2 Spider-Man, so they each get their own issue, which is what it's doing, essentially. It's hopscotching between Earth, space, Earth, space, Earth, and space. But yeah, he should be like, just when this goes back to normal, I think Pepe Perez should just be the ongoing artist for this, because he's doing such a great job. He's definitely, in my opinion, earned the his stripes here, and I think he should be rewarded as an ongoing artist. But honestly, guys, what did you expect? It is what it is until it isn't. But right now it is. So there we go. Those are my thoughts. I'm sure some of you love it, and that's absolutely fine, right? Again, this channel's just my opinion, right? You know, I'm not some Lord and Savior that comes down and changes things. I'm just giving you my opinion. You don't like my opinion? Fine. That's cool, man. Like the book or don't like the book, you know, but let's all be friends and chat about it in the comments. So like the video if you can, hit subscribe if you can. Hopefully, well, I do hope so. We'll see you in the next video. Take care now.